So you might have heard a little bit about the mass protests taking place in Iran these past few weeks. At their peak, thousands of people were arrested, and at least 22 people were killed in violent clashes. But despite the fact that some demonstrations are still going on, headlines about them have largely dropped out of the news. Hey guys, I'm Versha. I wanted to find out more about the impact of these protests that have rocked Iran in December and January. So I had to go back at how it all started, why it's important, and what it means for Iran's place in the world, especially the Middle East. The protest started on December 28, 2017 in Mashhad, the second largest city in Iran, and they spread quickly to the capital, Tehran, as well as several other cities and rural areas. Many organizers say they started because of the skyrocketing prices of basic goods. The price of eggs, for example, reportedly jumped over 40%. Now, Iranians have been waiting for their daily economic struggles to get better for some time, especially after the current president, Hassan Rouhani, signed a deal in 2015 that lifted economic sanctions on the country in exchange for limiting their nuclear capabilities. One of the chief beneficiaries of the lifting of sanctions was actually the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Khamenei controls what Reuters calls a massive financial empire, Setad, which is able to resume some of its main businesses after economic sanctions were lifted. But while the supreme leader and the government of Iran may be getting richer, the people are not. Some 33% of Iranians lived under the poverty line in 2017. So fast forward from 2015, with the signing of that deal, to the end of 2017, when it seems like things are getting worse rather than better for the general public. Protesters took to the streets in over 80 cities and towns and chanted slogans like, "Leave Syria alone, think about us." The government of Iran has provided quite a lot of financial and military support to the government of Syria in their ongoing civil war. But to these demonstrators, that's unnecessary support, and they'd prefer that the government direct their resources internally. Others took the opportunity to blast the supreme leader and protest against living in an Islamic republic, with chants like "death to the dictator." So what does it actually mean that Iran is an Islamic republic? Though the country has a president, he has very little power compared to the supreme leader, who makes the final decisions on pretty much everything regarding government, religion, culture, the economy, the military, and more. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard is made up of about 150,000 troops, all of whom are tasked with enforcing the rules of the Islamic Republic. In this case, they cracked down very quickly on the protesters, arresting thousands of them and leading to violent clashes that killed almost 24 people. This brings us to the 1979 Islamic Revolution, where the Supreme Leader and Revolutionary Guard first came to power. Prior to that, Iran was ruled by shahs, monarchs who came from a specific family line. It was authoritarian, but pro-Western, supported by the United States, and largely secular. But a combination of Islamic supporters, leftist groups, dissatisfied students, and guerrilla groups came together to overthrow the Shah in 1979, and the Islamic Republic was born. Under this system, the supreme leader is the head of state, and in 1979, it was Ruhollah Khomeini, a religious leader and politician who helped lead the revolution. When he died 10 years later, it was Ali Khamenei who would succeed him as the Ayatollah. Khamenei served as president of Iran from 1981 to 1989 before making the switch to supreme leader. And that brings us back to what he's doing today, banning the teaching of English in primary schools after these mass demonstrations. The 1979 revolution came about partially because of anti-Western sentiment, and the Islamic Republic is staying true to its roots. The supreme leader says learning English early opens the doors to quote-unquote cultural invasion, and the government of Iran has blamed everyone from the US to the UK to Saudi Arabia to Israel for stoking the current protests. English, by the way, will still be taught in middle and high school in Iran, for now. It seems that they think anybody younger is too young to handle foreign culture, like it's a gateway drug. And this brings us to what's next for Iran. Some experts think the government is missing the point of the protest when they blame external forces for what's happening inside the country. Karim Sajjadpour, an Iranian and a senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, believes that even if the protests die down now, the resentment toward the regime will remain and will eventually resurface in the future. So the Iranian government blames foreign powers for these protests, but organizers insist it's all coming from the Iranian people. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos every week from NowThis World.